Hello and welcome to a Star Citizen podcast with me, the fantastic and lovely BoredGamer, and the equally fantastic and lovely Zinnia. Say hello, Zin.
Hello, Zin. Some people say more so.
Some people would, especially you, I suspect. We have some topics we're going to talk about today in the wonderful world of Star Citizen. I want to talk a little bit about what Cloud Imperium mean by Star Citizen Alpha 3.20 Wave 1 PTU in the near future. I mean, I'll give you a quick spoiler. We don't know. That doesn't mean anything. We've got summer. We want to talk about summer being really slow for Star Citizen. We're sort of coming to the end of the slow patch, but we've got another week or two of Star Citizen being a bit not much going on in game, and not a huge amount to hold us interest for us news-wise from Cloud Imperium. They don't put out much, but we'll talk about that in a minute. And we've previously talked about this on a video, but I want to talk about a Star Citizen refund drama that was going on, and also Star Citizen's funding. Can we even compare it to GTA 6's rumoured funding of $2 billion? Well, we can, because we're going to. So, Zin.
Yeah.
What do you think Cloud Imperium mean by we're going to have Wave 1 PTU in the near future for 3.20? What is near future? Is that a week? Is that a month? Is that a year? I heard that we were going to have Pyro when I thought about it in 2019, and in the near future, it's now 2023.
Well, obviously it means more than 4 years then, doesn't it?
Oh, wow. let's hope not.
I would assume they have it in mind, but obviously they're not going to release it to Wave 1 PTU until they're ready. Obviously.
That is literally it. They've made a lot of progress with Alpha 3.20, and I think that's because basically they went, there's no proper end of Q2 patch. They sort of had 3.18 and they got 3.19 out as an interlude between Q1 and Q2. So it's sort of like the Q1 and Q2 patch was 3.19 sort of. 3.19.1, actually relatively good state. Still a load of problems with desync and stuff like that, especially when Cloud Imperium try and run dynamic events, and I love dynamic events when they work and they don't cause everything to desync and explode, or have invisible players and things running around, and that can be quite infuriating. But near future, for Alpha 3.20 that Cloud Imperium have said for Wave 1, we don't know when that's going to be. Hopefully within the next few weeks. We do know that they are testing 3.20 with the Evocati, they've tested lots of different things, including experimental modes with the master mode mechanics, which everyone's very much looking forward to. I believe that's just in the Gladius at the moment. It is early stages with that. It's not a 3.20 release that we're going to have. All ships have that. It will likely be tested in experimental mode still, so very small testing, even with that live build with master modes. Are you looking forward to master modes in, or do you just I'll just roll with the flight model?
Mostly roll with the flight model, but again, I'm always interested to see changes, so...
Yeah, okay, fair. Something I do want to talk about is that content creators and Star Citizen players typically have quite a hard time in summer because it's boring. It's very slow.
And it's hot.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on that people don't necessarily like, but there's a bit of a drought during summer typically for Star Citizen and for things to cover, because there'll be a hiatus for Inside Star Citizen for at least 3 weeks in July. Less news basically coming out. There's often delays in Star Citizen lives. There's very little news going on. We're in the midst of a patch that is often broken or has some sort of problem that won't be fixed until the next major patch is released. Now, sometimes we get a big old patch at the end of June.
Yeah.
Didn't really have that this time.
No.
So it's slower than normal. Not ideal for Star Citizen. And we've got the Foundation Festival, which tries to get a few more people into the game with tutorials and people helping each other out. And there's a little bit of a free fly, but it's not a huge event. It's pretty minor as events go. And there hasn't been any new ships or anything like that. So I do think Cloud Imperium need to pace themselves better throughout the year. You've been here now a few years in, or at least a couple of years, maybe more. I don't know how long we've been employed. What do you think? Do you think summer super slow? Do you think Cloud Imperium should do something about that?
I mean, I just think it's unfortunate because we've not got the quarterly patches we usually or used to get or had temporarily. I don't remember. Yeah,
fair. So that's going to keep people busy for at least a month and a half, couple of months before they're then going, I want the next major patch, which is obviously they try to release a quarterly patch, although because of a bit of problems with persistent anti-streaming and them working towards server meshing and all that sort of jazz, they are a bit erratic with that, and they've been sort of you're lucky to get 3 major patches in a year at the moment. Yeah, a lot of stuff has converged, unfortunately, which has caused this quieter time to be even quieter.
Yeah.
Still stuff to do in playing Star Citizen. Star Citizen 3.19.1, genuinely great patch. But as I said, just the Foundation Festival going on is pretty quiet, and very little sort of development info going out, because they're sort of pushing towards 3.20, and they're like, when you have a roadmap update, well, it's like, yes, we're confirming the features that we've already talked about for 3.20 being in that patch, and there's sort of nothing new there. So no meat on the bones at the moment for Star Citizen's development information, but we'll cover it such as it is. There's still a bit to talk about, just less than normal. Something I do want to talk about again is that Star Citizen Refund drama. Now, I'd previously talked to Zin about this, sort of off camera.
Mm-hmm.
You obviously know about this guy. He went, I want a Star Citizen refund. I want a refund on my account. And there was a few articles and some videos about it, which were like, this guy had some really good legal points, and he wanted a refund, and CIG was scared because they have to refund him in the UK, and he didn't even get a full refund, and things like that. There was so many, there was so much incorrect about all these articles that I saw, from what I could tell. So basically, really roughly, tell you the story. Guy wanted a refund, and he got a refund. That's pretty much what happened. He'd played the game, he backed in 2022, so he hadn't been backing for long, but he played over 270 hours. He had some problem with his account, because when he requested a refund, he had actually previously sold one of his ships on a secondary market. So he wanted a refund. Cloud Imperium looked at it and went, we can't give you a full refund because secondary sale, and you've played 270 hours. And he had made, in a sort of letter believe got from the Star Citizen Refunds Reddit, he had basically gone, look, under the UK law, I'm entitled to a refund because of these things. I think one of them is that the game's not technically released yet, and it's not of a high enough quality to be considered a product that was worth buying, and stuff like that, roughly. But he'd played 270 hours, he'd sold one of his ships, Cloud Imperium still gave him a refund for the remainder on his account, and he was very happy about that.
We assume, anyway.
What do you mean, we assume?
Has he actually said, yeah, I got a full refund?
He didn't state super clearly that he had got a full refund. He said he'd got a refund for most of the remainder of his account, and he was happy with that.
Okay.
I don't have the very specifics of it. I just read what he replied to on Reddit. He got most of his money back. If not, potentially, he made money by selling one of his ships. But I think he probably made about how much he got back. And I think he got like a refund of around $250 from CIG. So he wasn't a whale or anything by any means, but obviously that's a lot to spend on a game. But he played a lot of hours of that game. And one of the other things was he had argued that Star Citizen isn't released. Now, Star Citizen is not a full release by any means. It's in alpha. But Cloud Imperium argued in their response to him. It's not a legal response or anything, although it was from the legal team. It was sort of like on the Zen platform. So just going, they're applying to his support ticket. They said, look, we don't owe you a refund. You played the game for ages, and you're arguing the game isn't released, whereas you've played something for 270 hours. It's technically, Star Citizen is released. It maintains a playable alpha. It basically debunks the fact you've played it for 270 hours, debunks the idea that it's not released. And I thought that was more interesting, because some people are saying, look, Cloud Imperium are saying the game's released. Deal with it. Other people are saying, well, that's not what they're saying. They're saying it's sort of technically released. It's an alpha. It is playable. It's playable rather than released. It's sort of semantics. And that's sort of like what we had agreed on, really, wasn't it? So that it was just a semantic argument at best. Star Citizen is playable, and it's kind of released in a way. It's not a version 1 release. It's not going to remain like that all the time. What would you think if Cloud Imperium went, we're never going to have a standard version 1 release. We're always just going to constantly update the game every 3 months, and eventually we'll say there's no more resets. What would you think about that, Zin?
I think that's a little bit weird.
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility from CIG.
See, if they were going to do that, they would move their goalpost of what is released. And it'll just come to a certain point and they'll be like, right, the game is released and we'll just support it with updates.
What do you mean move the goalposts when you're talking about it in that circumstance? Do they not move the goalposts all the time, or...?
Well, because their aim is to not release the game or have it fully released until they've got certain criteria established in game.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they are looking. So I think basically we are looking for feature complete, but not content complete for a minimum viable product for Star Citizen. And what I mean by that is they don't need all the star systems, but they do need all of the connectivity and all the game features. Just not necessarily all the gameplay area and all of the assets and all of the ships and all that sort of stuff, but they do need all of those gameplay features in. I just thought it was an interesting one. There was a lot of drama around this, which just seems to be ridiculous because Cloud Imperium...
Unnecessary.
Yeah, well, inflammatory for inflammatory's sake. Like, Cloud Imperium acted really well here. They went, we don't need to give you a refund.
Hell yeah.
But we're going to give you a refund for the remainder of the stuff on your account anyway. And I just... To think that they were scared or something of the UK law, compliance is not being scared. Like, they acted in good faith there, 100%. And I'm interested to know there'd be a load more stories of a load more people not getting refunds or being really, really badly treated by CIG. And that there are certainly some stories I've seen from people who have said they haven't had the best time with CIG and whatever. But a lot of these people, I don't feel like we've had the whole story. Now, this guy seemed to be actually pretty happy with the result. He got his refund after a year. Cloud Imperium normally basically honour a refund of, well, it's 14 days by the book, but they honour it to 30. I think Cloud Imperium's refund policy and what they've done here is great.
I do think that, and obviously they didn't have to refund the guy. If they didn't refund the guy, what might have happened? And I guess they sort of maybe weighed up the whole, is it worth it? No, not really, let's just refund him.
Yeah, I mean, he could have gone to small claims court.
Yeah, in which case, I don't know much about law. I'm not a lawyer. However, I think Cloud Imperium had a very strong case in this matter.
Oh, yeah. So he was arguing that that wasn't of sufficient quality and stuff like that. But sufficient quality of a product when the consumer knows full well what they're getting is irrelevant. So it was of sufficient quality based on the fact it was an alpha. Basically, Cloud Imperium is saying there's bugs, it's in alpha, although it's playable, we are developing a game, and those pop-ups are everywhere when you like pledge or whatever, and you're when you put money into it, it's a pledge rather than a purchase. That's what they say. Although, as I've previously said, I'm not going to be happy if Cloud Imperium suddenly go, we're not developing Star Citizen anymore. I don't see my money I've put into Star Citizen as a pledge. I do see it as I've purchased digital ships because I use them effectively for work. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
I buy ships because I want to be able to cover them on my channel when I get like when Idris actually comes out, when the Javelin comes out, all that sort of stuff. I've bought some ships ready for that. If they just suddenly go, well, actually, you pledged that money and we don't owe you anything, that would make me sad. I think that's fair, isn't it?
Yeah. Something
I do want to talk about money is GTA 6 has a rumoured budget for its development of $2 billion. So I believe that is the sort of most expensive development ever and the most expensive single production of any single media piece ever. So what do you think about that number? And realistically, we're comparing it to Star Citizen, which I suspect in the next couple of years, Star Citizen will have hit sort of $1 billion in sort of development money. What do you think of that? Do you think GTA 6, do you think all of that money's for development or some of it for advertising? No,
I don't think. I think it'll be earmarked for advertising because they won't have done a lot of advertising. Maybe now because obviously it's going to be, I don't know when it's even going to be released.
No, neither do I actually. Do we know anything about it really other than some rumours? GTA 6 release date. The game may be released in 2025.
Okay.
Sorry, I was reading Star Citizen. No, it's maybe released in 2025, it says here.
Okay. But also, a lot of it's going to be licensing for cars, unless they're doing the same thing they've done before, in which case they just rip off cars.
Yeah. That's an interesting one, isn't it? How much of that is to do with licensing? How much of that is celebrity?
Music as well.
Yeah.
But that's ridiculous. Like, reading this here, budget is $2 billion, the most expensive entertainment product ever made, including movies, video games, shows and concerts, etc.
Yeah.
So that's not just the most expensive video game, that's the most expensive entertainment piece ever.
I just think it's really interesting. It's production for a single media piece ever. Yeah, it's certainly hit the record books. It is only a rumour, but I think it's pretty plausible. Obviously, GTA, an absolute titan of a game and a series. Makes sense they want to spend a lot of money on it. And they typically do spend a huge amount on advertising. So sort of remember that. Cloud Imperium Star Citizen spends very little on advertising and marketing, although they've started to spend more and more and more. on each year. They've got like a proper developed marketing team now. Their marketing team does make some odd decisions sometimes, I find, with certain ships and sales and things, and when to release things. But I can't argue with them, obviously, being great for the monetization model of Star Citizen. They are generating money. That is their job. What do you think Star Citizen, say 5 years Star Citizen's released, yeah? Releases in 5 years, whatever that means, released. How much money do you think they would have made? Do you think it's going to be significantly over 1 billion?
I mean, what are they at the moment? Was it like 400 million or
No. Oh, Zin, these are baby numbers.
I can't. My brain just loses all concept of amount after like a couple of million. So
600 million plus a good few million from subscribers over the years, and from incentives and from private investment. So that's the money I just mentioned, just from ship funding, from what I can tell. So they're probably closer to 700 million at the moment. I mean, I'll revise these figures and look at them later.
I mean, I think they might hit 1 billion in 5 years.
I think that 1.5 billion. I think they're going to keep on plowing past. So last year they made 113 million. I think we could see gains year on year. It's going to be tight this year. That they're behind currently this year, but I think big CitizenCon and big Intergalactic Aerospace Expo could catapult them over. It'd be interesting though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
As in much more of a pessimist, or some people say a realist than I am. Whereas I think to the moon, which is why all of my investments have crumbled. Right. So yeah, that's basically all I wanted to talk about. Star Citizen's funding, doing great. Hasn't got the budget of GTA. However, I suppose what you could argue with Star Citizen's budget is it's been written a blank check. It will keep on funding and going up. Mm-hmm. Although GTA 6, 2 billion is a lot of money, even if a good portion of that is on advertising. And yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about today. I'm really interested to know what you think about where you think Star Citizen's funding will be in 5 years. Do you think it would have dried up? Do you think it will keep on expanding outwards? Cloud Imperium think it's going to expand outwards, which is why they're expanding their studios. I think it will as well. I think it will become much more mainstream. That Star Citizen Refund drama, we've talked about it before. I'll link you to the full thing on it. But do you think Cloud Imperium were reasonable with that? And do you think, well, actually we can consider Star Citizen a released game, product or whatever, even if it's just playable alpha release, not a true release? And would you be happy with Cloud Imperium just updating it every 3 months and then eventually going, there's no more resets because we're in that sort of zone of it's good enough? Summer, it's slow for Star Citizen, but like or dislike if you agree. They are perfect. That'll get a lot of interaction. And Alpha 3.20, when do you think that's going to come out? And are you excited for it? It is heavy on the Arena Commander updates, but that's not a bad thing. There's a load of cool stuff in there, and that's going to make the game very playable and very accessible to a lot more people, and you can do a lot more cool stuff very quickly without having to go through the monotony of bugs in the Persistent Universe. I'm really excited for the Persistent Universe when it's all working, when it's all together. I love playing in it. I think it's cool, but really enjoy Arena Commander a lot of the time because I can jump in and it's quick to play and all that sort of jazz. Although they killed my boy since 2.6.3 many moons ago. So I'm looking forward to Arena Commander getting some love. You are as well, aren't you, with Arena Commander?
Yeah.
Perfect. That's all I need. Sometimes Zin just needs to say yeah. And yeah, perfect. So tell us what you think about that. Say goodbye, Zin.
Goodbye, Zin.
I've been the fantastic BoredGamer. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to hear from you in the comments below. The Tobii Eye Tracker 5 is on sale with 15% off until the 28th of July. They are natively supported in Star Citizen, giving you precision head and eye tracking that can help with immersion, as well as adding another level of control to your toolset. It's a cool piece of tech that you can use for streaming and seeing where your eyes are going, and loads of other games are supported too. Check out my links below to get one of those at discount. There are so many space games. Star Citizen is obviously king. Fight me. But how do you keep yourself secure and private while in space, away from the prying eyes of Big Pirate and Big Space? NordVPN.com/BoredGamer. That gives you potentially the best protection in cyberspace. Oh, see what I did there? Stay safer online with a secure private internet connection that also helps you get access to the content you want. Let me give you some testimonials that I'll just make up now. I just turned off NordVPN and got ganked by a load of pirates. I turned off NordVPN and my legs fell off. There you have it. Get NordVPN, because if you're not going to believe those testimonials that I just made up, what are you going to believe? You can grab it from the links below. It's good and it's super cheap and I use it. There you go. Boom. Something else that's good is our ship giveaway. Salvage is the newest big gameplay loop at the moment in-game, and we want to help you get involved with that, so we're giving away a Drake Vulture light salvage ship with lifetime insurance. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that is comment on any of my videos made during July. More details in the description below. Thank you so much to everyone that goes the extra mile in supporting the channel with the join button under our videos, or becoming a Patreon, or donating, or even just subscribing and liking and commenting on our videos and sharing them. You'll get an occasional exclusive video. There's polls and posts to get involved with. Please consider joining them, because it really, really helps us out. Thank you very much for watching. If you've got any feedback, please chuck it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you.